Yes, Jimmy, say that we have in the media, we have the mainstream media and there is the alternative media. And the mainstream media is, of course, a very, very big, big media. How do you call that? Media world. So it's really big. And the alternative media is still very small. But you say to have world peace, we need to collaborate. And I thought that was really interesting because in the mainstream media, there's one side of the story, and the alternative media is there to give the other side of the story. And we actually would like that the mainstream media is also is open for two sides of the story. And we as alternative media sometimes think that they don't do that. They only emphasize one side of the story. And because so many people watching mainstream media, we as the alternative media say, it's important that they also listen to us. That's really a problem in the world right now, don't you think, Jimmy?
Yes, we have a divided media landscape. We have the free media in the internet. I'm maybe since 10 years or a little more than 10 years because of the internet and the mainstream media. It always was used that they are the main transportation for information, and in the decades, from decade to decade, it always was more and more influenced by global single interests. And so it was quite dividing when a lot of people in the internet found a two-sided perspective of the situation. And then we realized that the mainstream media is quite one-sided, and it has nothing to do with press freedom anymore, and it's maybe a kind of indoctrination. So my background is 10 years of geopolitics, studying the reason why this planet has so much violence and problems. And my solution is we need to bring these two worlds together, the free media world and the mainstream media world. And this is only possible with a respectful and peaceful dialogue between us and the mainstream media, between activists, free media, and the mainstream media. Together, we could really have a dialogue about our future, about the future of our civilization.
Yes, and that sounds really nice, Jimmy, if you say that. And it sounds like the solution. But I could imagine, mainstream media is so big in the world. I call it corrupt because of what you see right now is that there's also censorship. And the alternative media deals with that. Also, my movies have been removed twice because they said it was not allowed to talk about these kind of subjects. So, that's really something that people could say like, well, nice idea, Jimmy, but it's not going to work.
Yes, I think we are educated that we have no power. The power is with the global interests, with corporations in this world, and with the military industrial complex. So we are used to not believing into our own power. But I think what is a really historical situation is that because of the digitalization, we are able to connect, to unite, to network on a global scale. We could come together without spending resources because in the COVID crisis, we learned how to communicate digitally. And so we could use this experience to come together to create a common voice, to raise our voice for a very important task for a non-violent world. I think we should not be too much political and too much aggressive about our wishes for the future. We should have a ethical dialogue, because it's about ethic, what we want for our future. And if you think we have not the power to change the world, we need to create this power by uniting. And this is why we call ourselves Lighthouse Media Evolution, because it's an evolution if we come into our confidence that we can create a common voice. And Lighthouse means orientation, because in the free media, we learned that every conflict, every violent conflict has two sides. And now we know about the global interest, the single interest behind the Ukraine war, behind the situation in Middle East. So we can discuss this on platforms which we trust. So we should talk about ethics and about trust with the mainstream media, with a loud voice and with a peaceful voice. That's the idea.
Okay, and what is your strategy? Like how can you do that?
For the strategy, I have to say that we are already 2 years working on that, and we have a success, because we started in front of media houses in Germany, and this is 70 weeks already, so 1.5 years. We stand there and we want the dialogue, and we already had 20 roundtables in this 70 weeks. So this is the first approach to start the dialogue, and we realized that there is no not knowledge, and there's not the situation that the journalists know what they miss. We realized that they don't have the information sometimes. We live in a world where they avoid to look at the internet. They are avoiding the internet because they are so used. Most journalists we met, they have 30 years of experience in the profession of journalism. So they did not think about looking in the internet. It sounds crazy because these are professionals, but we talked to professionals who really said, I never heard about this news magazine. I never heard about this geostrategist who knows a lot of information. So there is a lack of information. We don't have an evil side and a good side. We really need to have a sincere dialogue together to fill this informations.
And you already did that in Germany. You said you had journalists coming together with you, and you talked about different angles. You say you do that without aggression. That is the most important thing. If you talk to each other, you do that with respect. Round tables. Did you succeed? Can you tell me something about the success that you have and what happened?
Yeah, the best success is after 20 roundtables, we had one roundtable which was public. So the political party of South Germany, they invited the public broadcasting system, the mainstream of Germany, together on a roundtable, and there was a great nervous. They were quite nervous. So they forbid to make video reporting about it. So it's strange because it was a public event. And so we have only bad quality audio recording about it, but we have recorded everything, and it was a very sensitive talk. We talked about that journalism has a responsibility for the violence in the world. They are not active in the violence, but by reporting only one side of the violence, of the wars, they have a responsibility. And we talked about this, and it was a first approach, and we we cannot change the situation immediately, because we're talking about a power structure, about many decades of indoctrination, and we are not many. We have to do our homework. Our homework is to raise a loud voice, to come together, to have a relevance of if the society comes together and really wants a new ethic in journalism and a new ethic in foreign policy, then we need to come together. And this is our homework, what we have to do. The journalists are already beginning to get aware of the problem, but they need our relevance by a growing loud voice, a peaceful, respectful voice. This is what we need to do in the next weeks and months.
And you said that the media can have a significant part in world peace, you say. Can you explain that a little bit more, what you mean by that? What is the role of journalists in this whole conflict?
Because the reason for violence and for wars is disinformation, misinformation. If you don't have the right information, you cannot have the right opinion about what decisions to make. Our vision is about round tables between the politicians, the round tables to discuss the global interests, the single interests, the common interests, and making compromises about the conflicts. And this is how our civilization should be. We should discuss this. And instead of the round tables, we have wars and battlefields, because there is a single interest of the military-industrial complex. So the journalists, they have a function of control, not only control, but giving balanced information about the conflicts and about the interests behind the conflicts. And this is what we need to discuss in a sincere and respectful dialogue. Because we are talking about history here. We are talking about ending 5,000 years of war. We are really talking about a new age of understanding and of a peace economy, because behind the war is an economy, and we have to change a war economy to a peace economy.
You said that you are having an initiative called the Lighthouse Media. You have a website. If we want to take action, a call to action, what can we do?
Yeah, this is the best news. We really want to bring everybody into the confidence that you can be a part of the change. So you can share the work by a web tool which we created, because to establish a dialogue, we need only to combine the informations about existing events. In this way, we do not have to spend money and spend time, because the activists around the world, the peace activists and the democracy activists, they already do so much for a better future. We just need to invite the mainstream media to the existing events. And for this, we created a web tool. Everybody can have a look at it. I made an explanation video, 8 minutes. In 8 minutes, you understand how this web tool works. And with this web tool, you can directly invite mainstream media, for example, we have a rally at the weekend to free Palestine, to end the violence in Palestine and in Israel. And there is a rally in Washington, and we invited the Washington Post. You can Google the email address or find even the email address inside our address list in the web tool. And so we connect the rally, the lecture about peace, about truth, with the local mainstream media. This is an act of 10 or 15 minutes. So everybody can, even if you're not living in Washington, you can put the data into the web tool and invite the Washington Post. And if they really come to the rally, you have always a contact person in the email, and this is me normally, so you can stay anonymous. If you live in Washington, then you can put yourself as a contact person, but you must not, you can always be anonymous. And so everybody can decide, do I want to go for peace with my name, or do I want to go for peace anonymously? Because, you know, there's also some pressure from politics. So not everybody dares to go public with his name.
Yeah. Well, all the information about your initiative, your project is in the comments below, so people can check it. The video you made is there, and lots of information. So if you want to know more, please check Lighthouse Media, and we put all the information down in the video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Jimmy, for explaining this idea to have world peace. It seems like a great idea, and I wonder what you all think about it. So yeah, let's have the discussion about it. Thank you so much again for watching, and if you like this video, please share it or subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.